Beautiful morning, absolute stunning day today. Righty, anyway, we are pretty much there now with the pecking out and the raking out of the wall. Just gone down minimum 35mm, basically using our finger as a guide. We have hosed it down. We either hose or like use a bit of a jet sort of, just to blow out all the joints, any loose debris. We always try and do that a couple of days before we point. You don't want any water pooling or like, you know, collecting within the wall. But anyway, so we're all ready basically now with the wall. The only thing we'll do now really as we go for the wall is just use a little sprayer like so, and then obviously the area we're pointing will just slightly dampen down them joints, just so obviously when you do point, the lime's got something to adhere to basically. The lime mix is going to be what we normally do, so it's 3:1, meaning 1 part lime to 3 part sand. But our normal mix we do is 2 grit sand, 1 neutral building sand to 1 lime. So basically it's 3:1, 2 grit, 1 building sand, 1 lime. But on this one, because we don't want to, you know, obviously that mix normally comes out quite like a creamy white, but it is quite bright basically. But on this one, we actually want to dull down the mortar slightly. So if you sort of look at that wall there, that's what our mix normally comes out like, but we actually want to try and achieve something that's slightly darker. So we're going to keep the grit the same, so 2 parts grit, but we're actually going to put half a neutral building sand with half a ginger sand, just so it sort of darkens it down slightly. When I do get a chance, I will do obviously how we actually knock up, you know, a proper detailed video on the mortar. But yeah, so on simple terms, basically our mix is going to be 2 grit, half a building sand, half a ginger, just to really try and achieve that sort of darker colour. We have used that mix before and it goes really well with this type of stone, so that's good really. So yeah, so that's going to be our mix. But with the lime as well, every single lime you use, obviously we always use the 3.5 hydraulic, but if you just read you know, the product on the back, it gives you guides, you know. So if you're ever worried about what mortar ratios to use and stuff, obviously, you know, obviously do research on colours and stuff for what mortar colour you want. But if you read the back of them, it tells you, look, pointing rubble stone, pointing brickwork, slurry coats, interior plastering. Just obviously do your research. But on this one, you know, we always normally point with lime, even build really with 3.5, 3:1. Like I say, some people do 2 to, I think like normally they do advise you 2.5 parts to 1 lime sand, but you know, so like we do 3:1. But you know, it's just, but then I know people that you do 5:1. After practicing, you know, with lime and obviously using it, you'll get to know it and you'll know what obviously works good for you and stuff. So but I just think like, yeah, we always use 3:1 because it just works well, it goes off well, you know, stuff like that really. So there's loads of factors, but you know, if just to start off with, if you're like new to lime or whatever, just always read the packets, do your revision. Basically, you can't you know, can't go wrong with a bit of research. So lovely jubbly, we've got a bit of mortar knocked up. We've gone over the spray bottle on the section we're doing. I've actually just started up there just to have a look, but we've actually gone off and like I say, sprayed it all. This is what the mortar we're using is coming out like. So it's dry-ish, but like I say, when you do actually, you know, put pressure on it, it smooths down nice, and that's what you want really. Something which obviously, you know, is workable, but you know, you don't want it too wet really, because then you just create more work because you smudge it on the stone. Whereas this just works really well like this. You know, the time of year is pretty good as well. So like, you know, you want it sort of, like I say, a bit of moisture in it so it's workable, but then obviously not too wet, because like I say, we haven't got any frost yet, but you know, you always got to treat lime like there's always a frost basically. So you want it, you know, damp basically, but obviously not too wet, it's going to take forever to go off, but then obviously not too dry, it's not going to actually cure. So yes, but like I say, always do research your lime. You know, I've watched so many different videos, so many different people do it differently. There's so many people say things are wrong, things are right, but at the end of the day, until you actually use it and try it, you know what I mean, you get to know things like anything. But yeah, so really going to crack on pointing now. Going to start on this end, obviously rebuild the tops there. Yeah, just to start cracking on with it. Always keeping a pecking hammer nearby, because you do miss bits, but you just got to keep an eye on it. Like I say, it's not hard, you know, miss a bit, peck it out, you know, brush it away, dampen it again. You know, it's very simple. You just got to just go for it, you know, as long as deep as possible, you're all right. But on this one anyway, just literally, I use simple tools. I do have a hawk, but I've been using this massive dustpan for ages, and I just like the way of the lip and that. It just works really well on the wall. You know, you can always put it there, press it up against my belly, lovely jubbly, you know what I mean? But on this anyway, so some sort of hawk, tray, dustpan, whatever you want. And then I just use a simple little pointing trowel for the big bits, and then obviously for the smaller joints and stuff, just square and leaf, whatever you want to call it, to get in there. Like I say, any trowel will work. Basically the main thing is just getting that mortar in there. I've known people to use teaspoons and stuff, you know, like I've got this little bit of wood as well. This acts exactly the same as a brick jointer. Get right in there, you know, as long as you get in there, it doesn't matter what you use really. But to be honest with you, I use my hands a lot as well. So any big bits, I always put, you know, the mortar in, but always, you know, just use my fingers. Like I say, Pat tells me off for using my, you know, using my hands, but at the end of the day, use what God gave you. It works, so it's all good. But anyway, yeah, we're going to crack on, like I say. Obviously I've started up there because I got a bit excited and wanted to see. Just always keep an eye on the weather, because like I say, we haven't hit frost season yet, but you've got to really just, you know, do your research with lime and do your research with obviously the weather conditions, because that is the most vital thing really of lime. It's about keeping it sort of moist, but then not too moist. Not too moist, obviously, if you do get a hard frost, you know what I mean. But to be honest with you, we've got a long way to go. Like I say, it's still about 12 degrees in the day. Obviously when you do get them days where it's not rising above 3-4 degrees, which is quite rare really down here where I am, southwest, but you know what I mean, that's when you've got to be careful. But like I say, we cover up, well, I'll show you later on anyway, but we obviously always cover up the walls with a really thick hessian, you know, which is actually waterproof as well. We're gonna go have a cup of tea and then smash on with this afternoon with this pointing. But yeah, like I say, I'm gonna enjoy this one, because it's not just like, you know, I call it pointing bricks, where you've got the same size stone, and this is all about, you know, gonna have to use different trowels and stuff. It's good, it's exciting, I love it. But yes, it's all good. But you can sort of see what I mean about the mortar, whereas if you watched the last video with the greenstone, we used our sort of normal mix, which is obviously just the 2 grit, 1 building sand and lime, no ginger, just half, you know, half a measurement of ginger does that. It's crazy. It's literally made it a different colour. But I think once that dries out, it is going to match, you know, what is sort of what's on that wall there. So you imagine that, just obviously a lot lighter. I think it's going to match it. You know, that's what we want to try and do. Obviously it's new mortar anyway, so you're never going to get it spot on. But like I say, as close as possible is best. Anyway, cup of tea, crack on this afternoon. Lovely jubbly. Nice and compressed. It's always quite handy getting a perk done first, and then working up, getting it done. Work up, then once you've got that blocked in, you can then work up the joint. Lovely. Yeah.
Half a minute.
Half?
Yeah.
That's quite drying up this actually, you know.
Like I say, it looks quite
Yeah.
nice. That's my point.
Nice?
Yeah.
You don't just want the nice can. Get right in there, innit, Cam?
Oh yes.
Get right in there, nice and compact. Beautiful. Oh, it's just quite hard with these bits really, but don't be shy, get your fingers in it. Well, you got to. I'm gonna get this little bit in. It's mad, isn't it? I don't know how cold it is really, it's like 14 degrees in it.
Is it?
Start with the bottom. God, some of these are well deep, aren't they? It's good, but it's just a little bit deep and awkward. It's nice when you get to a nice line, isn't it?
Yeah.
Easy. Ooh. You're taking it in there. You think I've done that little bit there, and that's a big trowel's worth. It's good. Really pack it in, innit? Sometimes use what God give you. I always think like, you think back in the day, because obviously like, you know, lime mortar and that,
Yeah.
obviously like what they actually used to use. You think a couple hundred years ago you wouldn't have a mixer beating lime around for ages, would you? Everything would have to be done by hand, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, I said that.
That's what I'm saying. Got it easy, mate, these days.
I like my job, but I don't like it that much.
That's a shame, isn't it?
It's mad when you think how long plants can live.
Yeah, I don't think it was like ridiculously old.
What's your favourite type of plant?
My favourite plant? What, like flower? I love a dahlia.
It's doing alright. The cactus sort of, you know.
Oh.
I just feel it, you know what I mean? It represents me in a plant.
You just thought you lay there at night, just feel your cactus.
Well, no, like emotionally feel it, not
Oh,
feel
I was
it.
about to say. Ooh. It's quite awkward, isn't it, with all these different shapes and angles, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? To get right in there.